All right, then. Welcome back to another session of The Raven. I'm your host, Ray. Last time I did this page here. Oh, crap. I did page 13. This is done. This is done. I need to... right now all I'm doing, if you're new here, hello. And also, if you don't know what I'm doing, I am drawing a comic. It is called The Raven. It is a Noir-style thriller suspense, kind of mashing up different old school ideas, kind of like The Crow, the darkness of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, but also with a serial killer involved. So it's different. I just popped in my head one day, decided I want to try it. So I have a few pages left that I need to refine. The entire comic is drawn at this point, but I need to go through and make sure all the drawings look clean, all the backgrounds are there, and that way I'm set up for doing inking. So we have page 10. Ah, yes. I gotta draw that. That's gonna take a minute. I might save that one for last, because that's gonna take quite a bit of work to do. Page 2. Oh, this needs speech bubbles. You know what? I'm gonna do the speech bubbles really quickly, and fix this goofy expression on this guy. Let me do that first, and then I'm gonna go through and try to speech bubble all the rest of this stuff. The speech bubble should be really fast, and in CSP it's pretty quick. But as I had said before, when you make a speech bubble, it blends it into one object. It basically becomes a speech bubble and text as one layer, one object. So you have to make sure you're happy with it before you move on. Otherwise, you have to write it again and redo it, and it's kind of a pain. Let's see here. Okay, so this guy, his nose and his eyes, basically, I don't think it's his nose necessarily. Even I thought that before. I was just throwing that down, but I think really what it is his eyes are a little too. Hang on, I'll make a point. I swear. His eyes a little too rounded for the way that I drew him. He originally, when I drew him, he was very sharp. His eye was, squared off, looking like more like that. So I think I'm going to try to keep that in mind when I'm drawing his eyes. His eyes are much more harsh looking because he's a little bit more pragmatic than his friends are. His friends like into this lore, and he believes he believes the story, and he's just like, what? Let me compare him to, where did I have him over here? He's fine there. I soften his eyes a bit, because he's kind of like, what is the story you're talking about? He's the skeptic. Okay, this guy. He looks just annoyed with his friend, and that's might be a little harsh. So it's not really his nose. Again, I think it's mainly his eye. I think his nose it's a little upturned, but he's, he's kind of yelling at his friend. As you open your mouth, your face flexes, right? So it can be adjusted a little bit. A little bit. So I can, a little bit, just down. Why is that so small? He got a big honker too. It's not a little wide. So he's got big old chunky nostril, Hang on, let me pull that back a little bit. So he's got this big old chunky monkey. He's a thick boy. All right, so his the bridge of his nose is a little more pronounced. I think that works. And like I said, his eyes are much more squared looking. Gonna close that up or lock it, because again, I don't like to draw by accident on the wrong layer, because it screws me up. Lock this guy down. Okay, so let us. Woohoo! yeah, baby. I'm going to give him a much more pronounced squaredness to his eyes. He is annoyed, so I'm going to push his brow down. Not his brow, his eyelashes, kind of like his eyelid. Kind of pushing down into his. See how he's got his. What am I trying to say? The bridge of his nose basically is going to be kind of furrowing down, and then his eyebrow should be kind of down. Now he's just like, he's not mad necessarily. He's just like, what are you talking about? That kind of thing. Interestingly, he's been the hardest one for me to draw consistently. This dude here, he's been fine, and her too. I don't know. There's a congregation going on out there. I have no idea what they're talking about. Let's see here. So he looks okay there, I think. Like I said, he's just kind of like, he's kind of annoyed by his friend. He's supposed to be skeptical, so he's not really annoyed necessarily. He can't stand, but he's just kind of like, this story's stupid. Like, why do you even believe this story? Yeah. Okay then, back to the story. So yeah, he's been kind of difficult for me to consistently draw, and it's not like he's that difficult of a character to draw. It's just I keep forgetting to keep his eyes the same, just silly stuff like that. I've said this before, I really should have character sheeted, but I wasn't too concerned because they didn't have a lot of how do I say, screen time, but a lot of weren't going to be around a long time, so I wasn't too worried about being super accurate with how they look. And but you live and learn kind of thing, because I gave him kind of almond eyes, which are natural, but I was going for something a little bit more expressive. And very simple. He's supposed to be thick. He's like a good old boy, and his friend's in shape. He's kind of he's not skinny. Sorry, I said a sharp pain. And he's not skinny or anything, but he's just this boy here. He's thick, corn fed. Oh, he corn fed. Corn fed, man. He a thick boy. Yeah. So I mean, trying to keep him consistent. There's a trick to do that. You can draw with this and just turn it into a profile, like say, that way you keep the same profile in terms of distance of his nose and stuff. So if you wanted to, you could do a guide across his mouth and like this, and then his eyes, and then when you turn it and start drawing the profile, it should match that. So one way I could do that is this is small. Lily, what are you doing? This is small. Hang on. This is a trick. All right, so I'm going to add a layer. I'm going to unlock this. Grab this layer. I'm going to lock all these. Hang on. So I'm going to draw a guide. Okay. So usually you would do like eyebrow. He's kind of at an angle here, looking upward. But if you want to keep kind of consistent, you would his eyebrow line, and then his nose to his. See what I'm saying? It's more or less like if you're going to the bottom of your nose and you go back to your bottom of your ear, it more or less lines up, and then eyebrow line goes to the top of the ear. And the eyes are in between there and all that, So anyway, if I do that and I old school tricks, right? If I take this and I move this up to that frame, it'll be down here, and I just got to move it. One of these days, I'm telling you. Okay. What happened to... Oh, it's down here. That's what happened. Never going to find it like that. Okay. It was underneath the white for some reason. Man. Okay, so now if I squish this down to match basically his size of his face, I have that roughly at the eyebrow line. That's pretty close in terms of the distances of everything. And so that's not really the problem. He's a little round here, and then when you look at him down there, I don't really need that. So down here, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It looks kind of red. I just got to fix his nose a little bit here. Let's just lock that layer. And I'm going to just push his nose up a little bit. Like, not turn his nose up, but give him like a little bump. He got a crazy nose, you know? If I can keep his nose consistent, I think that's the problem that I'm having. That's partly why I don't like it. I think, you know, you're drawing his nose like this, you know? So then from the front, if he's got this big old bump, you should see that bump. And looks a little weird with... Might be too pronounced. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not subtle enough. It might be a problem. I'll just leave it like that. Maybe just a little bump. A little one like that. There you go. I mean, obviously, from the side, you could really draw his nose where you can see his nostril and all that good stuff. But, you know, it works. I think it works okay. Let's see. So he's rounded, and see how square his eyes are. And then here, I'm going to cut off some of this, the roundness of his eye. Because it looks kind of... He looks too round. That's all I'm trying to say. Let me just... You know what? I'm just going to start his eyes over. Hold on. There's no reason to tweak that. It's not like it's the best drawing in the world. Okay, so... Let's go here, and there, and here, and here. Yeah, see, his eyes are real... It's really creepy to have eyes with no pupils in them. That's pretty terrifying. Anyway, he's gonna have... He's supposed to be looking this way, I think. At his friend. Yeah, he looks absolutely terrifying like that. He looks ripped out of his mind. Good Lord, what was I thinking? Let's go... Yeah, that's a bit much. Where the hell is his other drawing? Wait. I drew him from like straight on, and I liked the way he looked. See, his eyes are kind of like flexed here. They got to be fixed a little bit. But that's more or less the right way they should look. Yeah, I don't like this. I'm gonna start again. I don't know what's going on. Let me put his eyeball, or you know, his iris here. And like this side of his eye. I think it gave him, his eyes were too big. Ah. Yeah, that's a little better. They're kind of rectangular, but they're just rounded. That's what I should have done. And that's what makes it look a little more accurate, I think. Well, accurate to what I was trying to go for. So let me just draw that again, and I'll do the same thing I did for that one. I don't want to copy it, but whoa. It's incredible how much the pen feels like a pen versus the pencil in this program. It is a great drawing program. It really is. There you go. That's kind of what I was going for. So his eyes are... See here, his eyes are a little bit too downward forced. Forced. Well, I'm saying like he's furrowing his eyebrows, but I still feel like his eyes are a little too straight. They're too almondy looking. So I'm gonna try to get rid of the almond effect of his eye. Something that lines up a little better with the way he looks in the other panel. Yeah, see, it's a little sharper looking to me. Not perfectly straight. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but it was just too rounded for what I was going for. And I think on this one as well, I think his eye is a little too squared. So it's a delicate balance. I got to get the eyes right. If I don't have the eyes right, I get annoyed with myself because it doesn't feel like the same character. You got to get the eyes right to tell the expression, to tell the feels of the character. And also, he looked a little young when I had drawn him here originally, so he does need to have his face a little longer, I think. So I'm going to take his face, and like a horse, I'm going to stretch it on out. What did I just do? Here. Oh, that's shrink select. I'm like, what is it doing? I'm like, it's shrink selection. I don't know why I keep wanting to grab that. Let's see. Okay, now I can actually just kind of stretch this down a little bit. So he looks a little bit older. You know, your stuff moves around as you get older. It gets wider. And so further and further away from it. And I'm just going to move his nose down a little bit. I just want to try to keep him looking consistent enough, you know, just believable. I think it looks a little too angry in that bottom panel, so let me fix that real quick. Yeah, I don't want him to be really, really angry. He's just like annoyed. Like Garfield annoyed, you know? Did you laugh at that one? You know, Garfield he gets all sad and, I mean, not sad, but his eyes are like down, like annoyed. He's got like his eyelids like halfway down his eyes. He's just an irritated cat, ain't he? Yeah, Ginger. That's because Ginger is also a cat. And he's orange, like Garfield. I don't know if I needed to do that, but it felt right, Brian. You know something else? I know this is gonna be black anyway, but his mouth is open. You're gonna have the inside of your mouth showing, but not quite that much. At least I don't. At least that doesn't feel like you would. And he's got his tongue sticking out, you know, yelling at his friend like that's stupid. Oh, also, you know, his teeth might make more sense down. I kind of have his teeth like curved up, but it doesn't make sense because his lips pulled back. So it would have to be that his yeah, I don't know. Sure, what's up? No, it's like a minty green. It's green. It has greens in it though, yeah. No, you're good. So let's try to. There you go. Well, his honker is just way out there, ain't it? It's a little too. It's just way too far out. She's laughing at me because of the shit that I say. His honker be way out there, man. I don't know. I guess we call it a honker because, like, you know, clowns, they have honkers on their nose. They go binker, right? Am I wrong? He looks a little off still. I don't care. At this point, I don't care. No, that's wrong. Maybe a little bigger, but not that much. So like, he has no bridge to his nose. I'm getting annoyed with myself. So like, he should come in and come down and then come out. And then the lip kind of curls back up, but I think the distance of this, the distance from his nose to his mouth is a little exaggerated. I mean, I know it's a comic and I know it's a, you know, cartoon like effect, but that don't look right to me. See, it's too far back, and it's also too tall. So this is too far away for my taste. I'm gonna pull it down a little bit. And he is looking forward, and his nose is facing down. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to see if there's a angle I like better. I think that's okay. So he's going like this. So his lips should be kind of pursed up a little bit. Like, so you just see his teeth like that. If he was going like that, his lips would be kind of pursed up, you know. I'm probably just overthinking this. Let me just try one thing, and if I don't like it, I'll just undo it. But yeah, maybe it's just the angle. I don't know. Just something doesn't seem right about it. What can you do? I don't like that, all right? That's what I'm going for. Yeah. Well, that's probably better. That was probably just the angle of his mouth. I just didn't like the way it looked. Anyway, this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff I'm trying to fix. So now his nose looks a little bit too short considering how he's drawn on the other panel. I feel like he looks a lot more like him now. And there's just like a lot of refining. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get this to where I'm happy with everything and it's consistent from panel to panel. And yeah, I think otherwise this is okay. It might just be one of those things I'm going to walk away, come look at it later, see if I like it. Well, I think this one's good. I'm going to go ahead and close this one. Now, what I was going to do was actually go ahead and do the speech bubbles and everything in all these panels. So since I'm already here, might as well knock it out. This is page 2, so I'll try to get that knocked out real quick. This is a relatively simple thing to do if you're in Clip Studio Paint, because all you gotta do is circle the text. It finds where it's at. Now, if I do this, it automatically... Oh, because the layer is locked. I'd never thought to do that. If the layer is locked, you can actually... All right, fine. It won't do that. But usually it does this. Well, you learn something new every day. So lock the layer if you want to make sure it's on a separate one. And then you can pull it underneath. Holy crap, I never knew. Never knew. So this guy, like so. Yeah, this is a really, really easy part. You just kind of make sure that you... Well, it's easy in Clip Studio Paint anyway. Make sure that you have everything lined up correctly. And go to town. Now, see, being on a separate layer is cool because... And I did not ever think to check to see if it was locked. That makes all the difference in the world. And now I can move it around. And still keep the balloon effect. Like, you know, being able to pull a tail off of it and all that kind of stuff. Because I've always struggled with the balloons, you know? It doesn't actually have to be on them, by the way. You can just like this. It doesn't have to go all the way to them. It's actually better you don't because you can actually see the artwork. But if you wanted to cover up certain sections of the comic, say like background that you don't necessarily want to draw a whole bunch of detail for, you can cover it up with thought bubble or speech bubble if it's in the scene. Obviously, don't be lazy and just do it just because it's not going to make any sense. All right, I was gonna connect these with a. I don't know if you can. I've never tried this, but I'm gonna try it anyway. So what you do normally, like in traditional comics, you'll have like a speech bubble, and then somebody will maybe, like if they're talking back and forth in a big scene, you'll have a line connecting, so you can see that the same person is saying something else in return to what they're saying. So like you can see the dialogue. I kind of wanted to do something similar to that here, but I don't know that I can. I mean, of course I could do it myself, but I'm saying with a thought bubble, I mean with the speech bubble, I'm not sure that you can connect them like that in here, but I'm going to see if you can. This is going to require a... Yes. Good. I'm gonna try to... All right, let me just try to see if I can squash this down. This one's actually being a turd, so... There's even rectangle below. Ew. What? No. Yeah, see, that's good for not necessarily for speech, but for like a annotation. That's what I tried to be saying. I thought you could do this rectangular one. Actually, you know what? I think there is one more option. I think you can do rectangular balloon, and you can round the corners, can't you? Aha, yes, you can. Look. Polygonal. Let's go polygonal. All right, that's not working. Oh, roundness of corner. That's what I was thinking of. There we have it. Now I can draw a box. Good website. Draw a box. Okay, that's cool. So let's try to get this in here. Oh man, this is being extra difficult, and I didn't expect for it to be. Okay, let's do the box again, but this time not 2000. It's okay. It's a little bit squared. I'm not too worried about that. I just want you to be able to see what he's saying. Okay, that's weird. Oh no, it's not. It's because reasons. I'll put that there. So this, see how this is sitting like that? There we have it. I want to squish it in. Now I can move this text over too. It doesn't have to be exactly where it's at. It doesn't have to stay there. Okay. I'm just being a little OCD. I'm going to move this text around. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit enter here. I'm going to put a new line so that it emphasizes die. Yeah. And I covered this up with the font because he's used quite a bit. And the next page, you can see his hand and stuff. So I didn't want to overdo it. Overuse same thing too much. So anyway, you can see it's kind of gesturing that he's saying that. But I'm just going to do a, like he's putting his hand like this. I just didn't want to overuse it. I mean, I don't really necessarily need this, but I'll do it anyway. And then I need to do the thought balloon. I mean, I keep saying thought balloon. The speech bubble. Yeah, speech balloon. See, she knows. She knows. There's like whole theories behind like how you should or shouldn't do things. But you know what? Oh yeah, see, I wanted to see if I do it the way I want to do it. I don't try not to overthink it too much. What the hell is I gonna do? Yeah, see, these are both on the same layer, right? So what I'm gonna see if I can do is, ironically, it didn't force it on the same layer. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I wanted to see if you could like this. Nope. You can't do that. Can you connect the balloons together by way of rectangular balloon, you know, like these? Oh, you can. That's pretty cool, actually. So let's see if I can do this. What do you guys think? Do you think that's terrible? If you've Look, if you're here with me this long, I appreciate it. It's cool if I'm just talking to myself. That's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. If you use a square balloon, get rid of the roundness of corner here, I can actually square it off quite a bit. And that way it's kind of dramatic effect, right? Like, no, and then it this raven goes around taunting people before they even choose to die. I think that's kind of cool. Could use your opinion. Would you like to see? Just trying some things. There's the no here in the circle. Mm-hmm. And then it's connected to this down here. And then it's to his mouth. Or I could do it with just the little.
No, I like that.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
That way it's kind of dramatic, like no, and he's kind of carrying it down to the next. Yeah.
I like that.
All right, just going for just design decisions. Design decisions. All right. So next, we put on the. See again, this is going to need a squared off rounded balloon, so I'm gonna roundness of corner. Pull this one. Yeah. That'll work. That'll work, Bert. Hey, Bert. Shutting again, Bert. Trying to make sure this looks clean. Oh, he needs a little thing. The little speech tail. Balloon tail. See, he's super skeptical. He's punching holes in his story. And he's like, dude, can you just let me tell a story? It's just a story. Relax. He's like, I know, I want a good story. This one's stupid. All right. There's... I don't know. I'm entertaining myself. Rose is over here laughing at me. Let me get the thought balloon. Or, my God, if I say it one more time, the rectangular balloon. Because these scenes, they kind of... They work better with the rectangle. These slides. Slides. Panels. You know what? Words are hard, okay? I said this before. I take a medication, okay? I have a medication that I take. And it screws with my speech pattern. I swear to you. Like, I can't even remember... I can't remember people's names, like the celebrity names and stuff. Like, I'm okay with that normally. Like, I'm not the best at it, but I can recall like Idris Elba or somebody, and then I'll try to think of their name, and I'm like, I can't think. They're in this movie and that movie, and it's really stupid. So that's why I'm stumbling over all my words. It's like it gives me a speech impediment. It really does. All right. There's wait. He says wait. So what I'm gonna do is the same thing I did before. I'm gonna grab the rectangle balloon and do this, and then do that. Did it give a? See it. Let's lock this. I don't like it so that it's stuck. Okay, we have wait. And then we're gonna have this one down here. And that's actually kind of covering up too much. Then I could just move this down a little bit. The beauty of digital, right? It's fine that it's inside that one. And so it doesn't look completely goofy. It's gonna be better if it's on the side. Hang on. I'm not gonna sit here and spend all this time forcing something that doesn't make sense. Okay. There's a bale chunky monkey. Okay. This is fun, isn't it? This is the fun part. Just doing a bunch of goofiness. Okay. Can I get that in there? Well, I guess I can pull the... Let me lock it so don't do that again. Kind of covers it. There's this argument that you shouldn't cover your artwork too much. And, I agree. But, I don't really have a lot of space in this panel, so I'm trying to figure out what's going to work the best. Let me see if I think maybe I'll just How could the story of the Raven exist like that? Maybe just put no one by itself. You just kind of want to make it so that it doesn't completely destroy any artwork that you've done, especially if you're not the artist. You want to be respectful of the person's work, but really also if you're drawing the comic, sorry, I'm looking that way because I'm scratching my leg. If you're drawing the comic yourself, obviously you're the artist. You can step on your own toes. Who cares? But if you have a different artist, if you have an artist that's doing the work for you, it would make more sense to plan out where basically you expect the bubbles to be so that they don't draw unnecessary detail and it gets covered by a speech bubble. I've seen that, and that's a shame. Let's see. I'm going to try to connect these two together with a square bubble without the roundness. It's cool that you just Boolean tick that on and off because, kind of saves time to having to keep drawing, keep saying what size you want it to be. Okay, so something like this. I think that works. You can also stack the bubbles together. That's a pretty common thing to do. But I'm just trying to keep it as clean as I can. But also make make it interesting too, It adds dynamic to the drawing. At least I feel it does. All right, I think that's gonna have to be it because this is getting to be too long. These videos being like an hour long is probably too much. That should be it for now, and I'm gonna save my little drawing thing. So page 2 is done, and now page 3, I think, is done. And after that, yeah, we're moving on. Moving on up to these sides. I got to go back through here and ink everything, but I wanted to make sure I had the speech bubbles done. Again, for the same reason. I don't want to put a whole bunch of detail and then cover it up. That's just a waste of time. So page 2 is done. Oh, I said 3 is done. It's not. Page 1 and 2 are done. So cool. Then I'm going to come all the way back through here and ink everything, like I said. So anyway, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I shall catch you on the next one.